Shortly after qualifying as a doctor, I was traveling in Africa. While traveling, the guy I was with said, "Hey, there's a small Maasai community not far from the road here. Do you want to stop by and see it?" And I said, "Sure." In the middle of nowhere, really isolated. And the same thing that happens anywhere else in the world when someone finds out you're a doctor. "Oh, wait, what? Do you mind having a look at this thing on my..." That started. And then over the next 6 or 7 hours, I saw 50, 60 people having emptied the contents of the little medical kit I had with me and then running up against resource-limited healthcare at the end of the day, and went, all right, that's it. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to come back here or anywhere else. There's a community like this in the world that's poor and far from services, and I'm going to bring a bigger backpack. We set sail for Haiti after the 2010 earthquake, and we've been going ever since. The Ngobe people are kind of an interesting indigenous group, most of which don't have any roads or any access other than what you can do on foot or on, with pack horses or by boat. They live without electricity and without water, and most of the communities, even like this one, that are fairly close to Bocas, they tend to be very cash-poor communities, living month to month. Because of the work that we do, I get to experience a kind of connection with the families in the communities that would never be possible any other way. The saddest moments are when there's a terrible outcome from something that should have been easily preventable. 13-year-old kid with massive heart defects who died of pneumonia after a year and a half of curing his TB and getting his workups and getting all ready to get his heart surgery and get it repaired. The mom who dies of sepsis after childbirth, or infant who kind of wastes away from failure to thrive because the mom isn't getting enough nutrition to make adequate milk. Those things just drive me crazy. Let's see, it's now the 21st century and this woman just died of diarrheal disease. Unacceptable. Their typical diet in the communities is starch. Starch, some salt, more starch, some more salt. You can kind of see like this rain shower that's just wrapping up now. That kind of thing is really hard on crops here. You think like, oh, all the rain, that's great. But what it really does is leach every possible nutrient out of the soil, drown small seedlings and other plants. Maternal and child health are your greatest opportunity for the highest value intervention. The Ngobe communities benefit especially from the vitamins because prenatal vitamin not only, of course, helps provide what she needs to have a healthy baby, it also helps her make more blood. A great way to get vitamins into the newborns who are especially fragile is in mom's milk. The vitamins and the worming tablets actually fit into our program as one of the most popular draws for people to come and bring their kids. The kids who are coughing up worms and having worms come out of their nose because they've got a major infestation and a big swollen worm belly with little skinny arms and kind of sickly. Man, as soon as you've dewormed them, they sure look a lot better. There's definitely about a dozen kids that I can kind of think of in this community, where they kind of brought in and were anemic and just didn't look good at all, and that recovered really, really well just with something as simple as a 5-cent albendazole tablet and some vitamins that we take for granted that you would get in your normal diet anywhere else in the developed world. They know that their diet is a little on the poor side, but they just think of it in terms of, well, we have no other real option. Can't really grow anything else, it's almost impossible, we can't afford to buy any of this other stuff, but they view the vitamins as a way around that difficulty. I've never actually saved a life. I just do everything that I can, and then sometimes the outcome is that a life gets saved. You're just the instrument. As soon as I kind of start believing that I save lives, the danger for that as a doctor is that means when you're unable to save somebody, then it's all on you. It's okay to have an emotional connection with your patients. It's okay to be upset and to be sad when the outcome isn't what you hoped it would be, and to be happy when the outcome is what you hoped it would be. You'll know that if you did everything that you could do, you'll still be able to sleep at night. I had no real idea what this would be like starting out. Even when the journey is really, really difficult to get somewhere, I always say it's still better than being on the freeway. And the kinds of experiences that I've had in Ngobe homes, those are things that no one will ever be able to take away from me. Watching kind of how far we came in only 4 or 5 years, nothing to having a health service that covers a 7,000 square mile area and is set to almost double in expansion next year. It's It's pretty exciting. Once we've finished setting up Floating Doctors Panama, we'll then take this model and duplicate it elsewhere. My dream ultimately would be to see many different sustainable operations all over the world. A couple of our ships moving between to provide some of the more advanced services, more surgical interventions and things like that. To support the health of these communities, on the plus side, it's actually not that difficult. You can support groups like Vitamin Angels that have ongoing commitments to develop kind of sustainable health improvements in these communities. The cost of a hamburger or a coffee from a designer coffee chain every month means nothing to someone in the US to give that up, but the price of a hamburger every month can mean the difference between life and death for a pregnant mom in one of these communities or for a kid in these communities. It can mean the difference between a kid having 5 pounds of worms in his gut and having worms crawl out of his nose at night or not.